All right, guys, whenever I initially started learning Magik and I was watching guides on how to play her, I feel like now that I have mastered this character, there's so many things that those guides didn't cover that I'm going to be covering in this video. This is going to be the most comprehensive, in-depth, ultimate guide on how to completely master Magik and start carrying your teammates to victory. If you think Magik is just about pressing abilities and hoping your team follows up, that's exactly why you're stuck watching your teammates throw. Magik is not a button master, she's not an ult spammer, and she's definitely not a vibes-based character as we saw in the Kingsman drama. She's one of the only true hybrid divers in Marvel Rivals, a character that can dive, brawl, peel, and control the tempo of the match at the same time. And if you learn how to do that properly, you don't need perfect comms, you don't need perfect teammates, and you definitely don't need the vibes. In this video, I'm going to teach you what I call the 5 pillars of carry potential, the exact thing separating average Magik players from the ones that are hard carrying games. Pillar 1 is damage output. Not just combos, but how you pace fights, prioritize targets, apply pressure, and understand when to deal single target damage versus group damage. Pillar 2 is positioning, where you should be standing in neutral, when to brawl, when to dive, when to peel, and how to use space and cover so you're never taking fights you don't need to. Pillar 3 is game sense. Ult tracking, combo ults, counters, matchups, and team synergy. This is how you start winning fights before they even happen. Pillar 4 is mechanics and execution, the timing, setups, and small optimizations that let you survive, secure kills, and even negate enemy ultimates when it actually matters. And finally, Pillar 5 is going to be mindset and meta, staying consistent under pressure, adapting mid-game, understanding when to commit, when to disengage, and how Magik fits into the current Season 6 meta. If you're missing even one of these pillars, your Magik will feel inconsistent, but when all 5 are working together, that's when you stop hoping your team carries you and you start carrying them. So let's start with the most obvious and most misunderstood pillar: damage output. All right, so number 1 being damage output. What we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna explain. I'm gonna have timestamps in the video, so if you already know what the abilities of Magik are and how they work, then you can go ahead and skip this, but this is just the basics. So in terms of abilities for Magik, you have your primary attack. It's just a sword slash. It has range on it, but there is a damage fall off. Okay, so up close, it takes 4 full swings, right? This is just basic primary attacks. This is not, obviously not optimal. We're just going through the abilities. If you stand further back, it's gonna take 5 swings, just like that. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got melee. This does have a shorter range, but it still has a bit of area to work with. Then we have your E. E ability is your dash or your uppercut, right? It's gonna bring them up. This is crucial for your one-shot combos that we're gonna be learning later. You have your stepping disc. This is a point of invulnerability for Magik, so this is very useful when you're countering or when somebody is ulting you and you're trying to get out of the way. Once you come out of the portal, you have Demon's Rage and Eldritch Whirl. Both of these are amazing, but honestly the best one for you is going to be Demon's Rage because it's an area of effect damage that goes in whatever direction Magik is looking in. So as you see, I looked right there and it went right. If I look left, it's gonna go left, and it just attacks that entire area. It has piercing damage, it goes through enemies. And then lastly is your Eldritch Whirl. It's the exact same thing as the demon, but it's instantaneous. It doesn't last, but it is a 360-degree radius. The Eldritch Whirl does the same thing, but it's about the same damage as 1 slash, maybe a little less, maybe with the damage fall off. And then your passive ability, as you can see in the bottom of the screen, I have 400 shield. You're asking, how did I get that? That's from the damage that I'm imposing on the enemy, and I believe it's 1/3 of the damage that I deal to an enemy is my overshield. So Magik is a brawl. She can brawl. She's primarily strong when she's diving. Okay, so now let's dive into the ultimate abilities. It's the exact same thing. Magik's ultimate ability is just her normal abilities. They're just amplified to 100. So you still have your Demon's Rage. As you can see, it's bigger, it's wider, and it does more damage. Magik also has her slash, but this time it deals a significant amount of more damage, and this is great for AoE and crowd control. It's just going to cause the enemy team to back up. Nobody wants to deal with this. You have your dash, you have your slash, you can fully charge it. Look at the damage that does, as well as the dash. So they do the exact same damage. And when you hit a support with this at the exact same time, which we're going to be talking about later about how to flash step. It can one-shot supports. Okay, so the first tip that we're going to be talking about in damage output, now that we have the basics covered, is piercing damage. So I did mention this before, but Magik has piercing damage on almost all of her abilities. So with the slash, you can hit both targets, as you can see. With her fully charged ranged attack, it also has piercing damage. No matter how much you charge it, it's just with the full charge, it goes straight through both of them. Her dash does not have area of effect damage. With her Eldritch Whirl, it's area of effect, and with her Demon's Rage, it's area of effect. Now, Magik does have piercing damage, and you should always utilize this tool because Magik's passive grants overshield depending on the damage inflicted, and it does stack from multiple targets. So, for example, if you were to fully charge slash one enemy, you're going to gain 27 overshield, right? If you do it to 2 enemies, here, I'll wait until my shield goes away. If you do it to 2 enemies, you get 54, just like this. Boom, now I have 304 health. If you do it to 3, it just keeps stacking. Just multiply 27 by however many targets you hit, and that's how much you're gonna get. Magik's overshield does cap at 150, but it's very easy to get this damage, especially when the enemies are grouped up. Look right there, I already got 54. And they were already almost dead. So you just want to make sure that you're prioritizing the piercing damage. You want to make sure that you're lining up your targets. You never want to just be hitting one like this, especially if they're grouped up. If you're doing single target damage, it doesn't matter because your combo is going to be the exact same, but you just want to optimize the overshield that you get to increase your survivability. Then we have the damage fall off with sword swing distance. There is a significant damage fall off for Magik's primary attack. Whenever you attack an enemy as Magik, the distance between you and your target significantly affects your damage output. When close range, it will only take 4 swings to eliminate a 250 health character that isn't getting healed. Remember that. Whereas the further you get this damage can diminish to around 1/3 of the maximum damage capacity, and this applies and heavily affects your Dark Child swings as well, where it can literally take you longer to secure a kill than if you were just in your base form and far range. So look at this. 1, 2. You can see that damage is just almost abysmal, right? You see this. I'm pretty sure my ultimate's gonna go away before I kill him. Okay. Now, if we're close range, it only takes 3. I'm pretty sure it took 7 when we were further back. But you just want to keep that in mind, that whenever you're prioritizing a target, you don't want to be all the way back here, or if you see that they're about to die, you can portal in and get real close to them so you do more damage. There is damage fall off with the melee character. I know it's kind of wild. Now, single target damage. As you should know, Magik can output more damage by swinging and meleeing, right? So what this means is you swing melee, swing melee, swing. So it only took 3 swings and 2 melees, but it took the same amount of time as it would if you were doing the 4 full charges. Honestly, it did it quicker. So boom, 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 boom. And then there you go. So you want to prioritize just weaving in your melees, especially if they're close enough. If you see that they're falling back, like right there, I hit them with my sword. But if I tried to melee from back here, it's not going to connect. So you just want to make sure that you're weaving in your melee. What I like to do, what I did a lot, was whenever I was queuing up for a game or waiting in the starting room for the game to actually start, I would just do this all the time. I would just wait and do this. No matter where I am, I'm consistently doing this so that I can practice, because eventually you can get to the point where you're animation canceling the full swing and you're just getting all of the damage out of there, right? You know, it's just a habitual practice that you want to implement in your gameplay. Now, this, as I said, this should be utilized when applying single target damage, as in a 1v1 situation or a 2v2 situation when they're separated, or when you're securing a final on a low health target. The next tip that I have is group damage. Sword swing does more damage and ult charge. So if your enemies are grouped together, you should not be animation canceling with your melee. Instead, consistently swing and use your demon. As Magik has piercing damage, as we mentioned before, on her primary fire, as well as her slash and her demon and her Eldritch Whirl, you will do less single target damage here, but overall more damage output with the fact that your enemies are congested in one spot, which grants you more ult charge in the process. In the long term, you're just going to be outputting more damage. So you want to make sure that you're thinking about your targets. You're not just mindlessly slashing and dashing. Okay, so base form combos. These are really simple combos. I put together 5 simple combos. These are the combos that, one of them, I'm sure if you've even ever seen a Magik short about a combo that you can learn, this is one of the easiest ones, okay? So what we're gonna do, as you guys can see, we're gonna stepping disc, Eldritch Whirl, dash, and attack. All right, so stepping disc, Eldritch Whirl, dash, attack, melee. Just like that. Stepping disc, Eldritch Whirl, dash, attack, melee. Okay, he died because he had less health, but here we go. Eldritch Whirl, dash, primary, melee. Just practice that all the time. If you come into the practice range, this was my favorite practice to practice this combo right here. So what I would do is I would stepping disc, Eldritch Whirl, and I would just do it on all of these Galactibots and try to stay in the air consistently, just like this. You turn off ability cooldowns and you just practice hitting your dash, and you just consistently do the combo, and eventually it's just going to become like a second nature to you. Okay, our second combo is going to be a fully charged slash and dash, and this one's really easy. You just got to make sure that you hit the slash. So you're going to do a fully charged slash, dash, primary. They're dead. Especially when you're close up, this is deadly. That one's really easy. We can do it one more time just so you understand. It's a fully charged slash, dash, and primary. Okay, our third basic combo for Magik is a demon, melee, uppercut. And whenever you're doing it quickly, it looks like this. Demon, melee, uppercut, and they're dead. So you go like this, boom, boom, and they're dead. They're not getting out of that. So now we're going to do the 350 health combo. This is primarily for like a Mr. Fantastic or a Bucky with overshield. As you can see, we have Mr. Fantastic right here. You're thinking, how are we going to one-shot a Mr. Fantastic? He has his shift. So what you're going to be doing is forcing his invulnerability, getting it on cooldown, and then you can just, once you get your cooldowns, obviously you're going to get him quicker than he does. You can hit it on him again, and you're going to be able to take him out. So it's the exact same as number 1, but we're just going to be adding a slash and a primary attack at the end of it. So look, stepping disc, Eldritch Whirl, dash, slash, melee, slash, and boom. Just like that. One more time. Stepping disc, Eldritch Whirl, and then you hit the melee. So, Eldritch Whirl, dash, primary attack, melee, slash, primary attack, melee. So it's the exact same thing as number 1, right? Eldritch Whirl, uppercut, primary attack, melee, and then you're just adding a ranged attack at the end of it, and a primary melee. And that's how you can one-shot a Mr. Fantastic. And our 5th one is going to be a strange team up for supports. So as you can see, we have the strange team up here. We're going to pretend like these guys are supports. So all you're going to be doing is hitting your chain on them, using your Demon's Rage, and just primary attacking and meleeing the target that's closest to you. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to chain, demon, primary attack, melee, and they're going to be running. You can just do it again. And that's how you know what I'm saying? These are just 5 simple combos that we're learning, right? We're in the basics of damage output. Now, our base form combo utilization. So instead of constantly using your number 1, right? This takes a lot of cooldowns. Here, let me turn off ability cooldowns. The first combo that I've taught you guys takes a lot of cooldowns, right? It takes a portal and a dash, leaving you with only 1 portal to get out of the situation. So you want to analyze the situation and think, what is the scenario here, right? Instead of doing the basic portal slash uppercut, a primary attack melee to close distance, play cover and portal behind supports, right? Or if you see an enemy out of position and your team is behind you, then use this combo to close the distance, and only then, because if you miss the uppercut, which will happen some of the times, you then only have one portal to escape, and this is not optimal. So you just want to practice all of these combos and figure out which one works best for you in the situation that you're in. I really don't recommend using this one when there's a Bucky with his pool. It's just going to make it really hard for you to get out. Now, ult utilization. I see a lot of Magics just spamming their swirl whenever they use their ult, but they forget about the demon, and the demon is very, very optimal. So you should be using your demon and swirling when the enemy team is highly condensed in one area and not just portaling and swirling as one. This is very easy to heal through because there's time that it takes between your portals. It's very easy to heal through, especially if they're on triple support. So what you want to prioritize is hitting a one shot and then using your demon or swirl, right? You got to analyze the situation, but don't just mindlessly swirl. It's not going to work like that. Magik is not she's not a one trick ult. You know what I mean? She has a combo for a reason. She's a melee character for a reason. Also, you can be very easily countered by an Emma grab, a Strange ult, a Wolverine ult. You know what I mean? If you're just mindlessly portaling and swirling. So as once you begin slashing, there's a couple second animation that it doesn't allow you to re-enter your portal until it's finished. And then now we're moving on into the ult combos. I wrote out 3 of these for you guys. So for groups, one-shot combos, what you want to do is you want to line up multiple targets with your fully charged slash. Like this, portal, slash, and you know what I'm saying, they're going to die. And that one's really easy. I mean, just fully charged slash, line them up however you can. Just like that. Just like that. That one's really easy, okay? Now the single target one-shot combo is a fully charged slash and dash, then portal to remain safe immediately after. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna charge this up, then dash, and then immediately portal right after. We can hit it again, just like that. The reason you immediately portal right after is because it's primarily used for support ults, but it can also be used for countering DPS ults, such as an Iron Fist, Daredevil, Punisher, Hawkeye, Human Torch, Storm. Just you gotta work on your accuracy with the slash, but eventually you're going to be able to pull it off after a lot of practice, and it's just a very useful ult. Now when I'm talking about Punisher and Hawkeye, it's if and only if they are targeting someone else, or you have a shield from a Magneto, Strange, or Hulk to be able to give you some extra support while you're charging the fully charged slash and aiming it. Or if your ult was already popped and the abilities are available the instant you hear his voice line, you just want to turn to him, charge it, and hit it. Single target damage, this is when the one shot isn't available, like when your cooldowns are down. After you have already attempted either one shot, Magik will have a 6-second cooldown until her dash and slash combo is ready. So this is when you should be prioritizing your demon and primary attack. I understand that you cannot instantly kill a character like in the previous combos, but you can chain abilities to do more damage than you would if you were just spamming swirls. Do not be the Magik that spams swirls. I can't emphasize this enough. Instead, if you are targeting a character while others are around, or even when they're not, you want to initiate by using your portal, primary attacking, then portaling again, and rinse and repeat. But if you see that they're low, don't waste the time portaling. You just want to hit another primary attack and get them out of the way, then portal, right? And then you just rinse and repeat that. Remember your demon for applying AoE consistent damage here. If you see them running, if you see the enemies in a group, or if they begin to focus you while you still have time remaining, use a demon and set up the angle where you predict they're gonna be moving. Don't always put it where they are, because you want to follow their movement pattern and predict the future. So this will provide you and your team with far more damage output and inevitably ult value for you. Always remember Magik's passive. If you do damage, you get health. So you want to prioritize your damage output and stay alive. Now that you understand how Magik actually deals damage, the next question becomes, where should you even be standing when you do it? Because perfect combos don't matter if you're in the wrong place, and Magik lives and dies by positioning. So let's go into positioning. All right, so with positioning, we're talking about neutral game, offensive and defensive play, and decision making. So switching from Brawl, Dive, and Peel. Now comps for Dive, shout out to Pick and Roll. He taught me this, and I'm just relaying the information to you guys. The backline and enemy DPS style is the most important factor to consider here. If the enemy team has supports that are easily diveable, like a Cloak and Dagger where they only have one cooldown to get away, Invisible Woman where she can either push you or jump away, but you deal area area of effect damage, so you'll easily be able to get her out of her invisibility. Luna and Rocket and DPS that are gonna have trouble peeling you, primarily just not being a backline. Moon Knight, Namor, Bucky, Mr. Fantastic. If they don't have those things, this is when you can prioritize diving for the time being. You also need to consider your team comp, not just the enemies. If you have a Magneto for bubble or a dive tank to apply pressure with you, you are on dive. Consider the range of your healers as well. If your team has a Rocket, that Rocket can easily heal you as well as your front line because of the range of his healing abilities. But if you have a healer that needs closer range, like let's say a Gambit or an Invisible Woman that needs to be able to see you, you know, you might want to consider brawling in that situation. As well as Luna, you know, she can give you your Snowflake or an Invis that is closer to the front line and not an Invis that's just playing in the back line. These are all things to consider and be aware of when playing Magic in competitive play. I understand that Invis could be healing you if you were out there, or your Luna could be healing you if you're diving, but if you notice that they're not and they're just staying in your backline, you're gonna want to consider brawling, because this is a guide on how to carry, so you're gonna have to mold your play style around your team. It's not just gonna be, oh, my team should mold their play style around me. That's not how you carry, bro. You're just gonna have to do the best with what you're given. All right, and then comps for Brawl. The frontline and DPS style is the most important here. If they are running characters like Magneto, Strange, Emma, Thor, and DPS like Bucky and Namor, you want to prioritize ult farming in the front line or diving when the enemy DPS are distracted or have already wasted their cooldowns and a support is out of position. This is the most important factor. If you see an enemy out of position, this is when you dive in comps like this. Other than that, you want to brawl, charge ult, and get some maximum damage output. Consider your healers as well here. If your healers absolutely need you in their line of sight, like we talked about earlier, you might have an easier time brawling, like a Loki or an Atom, something like that. Now, comps for peel Brawl. Magik is not just a brawl and dive. She is very good at alleviating pressure applied by enemy DPS and tanks, just as well as she is at applying it. It is also your responsibility to peel. Magik is a very well-rounded character and she needs to be optimized. Every combo that I've taught you in the previous bullet points can and should be optimized, not only when diving and brawling, but as well as peeling. If you see Thor in your backline or Venom, you can and should be helping your supports. If they die, you die. So constantly be aware of your enemy's composition and playstyle and consistently adapt to the changing variables. So that's a lot on comps right there. I do want to say, if you're enjoying the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to try to get more of these guides out there, but this is Magik. This is my main character. I know this character through thick and thin, so we're just going to keep going. Our next point is using your disc to apply pressure and come back to position when brawling. So when brawling in the front line with your team, you can and should use your combo to apply pressure on an advancing enemy tank to force them to back off for a second. Then while mid-air, after your uppercut, use a stepping disc backwards to come back to your tanks and then drop your demon to continue applying sustained damage to the advancing enemies. This is just one tip. Our next tip is going to be being a corner assassin. So although Magik is inherently one of the best brawlers in the game, Magik is and always will also be a corner holding assassin. So play the corners behind your enemy team, find an isolated target, hit them with your combo, and leave. Don't stay there long enough for the enemies to notice you and pick you off of their backline. Now that we learned a bit about positioning, which is what keeps you alive, game sense is what lets you win fights before they even start, and this is where Magik goes from being dangerous to being oppressive. Number 3, we got game sense. Ult tracking, combo ults, counters, and matchup synergy and team play. So for our first one that we're going to be talking about is ultimates and abilities that can synergize with Magik. So number 1 is obviously a Strange ult. If you see your Strange has ulted the enemies, use your demon. Use your demon or hit a one-shot combo. They're frozen still. Prioritize a target and hit the one-shot combo. A Groot ult. This is when you use your demon. You pop all of your cooldowns. You get as much area of effect damage as you can, because this is where Magik excels, like we talked about earlier. And Groot isolates all of the enemies into one spot, just making it easy pickings for you. Thing ult, the same thing as a Strange ult. You want to prioritize one target and get them out of there. Emma's grab. If you see your teammate Emma has grabbed an opponent, you want to hit the combo on them. They're standing still. A Magneto bubble. If Magneto is giving you his bubble, dive. Dive and then get out as soon as the bubble's gone, unless you got a pick and you're advancing. Hulk bubble, the exact same thing. A Magneto ult, this one's more of an ambiguous one, but if you see that your Magneto is trying to ult a support, you want to be applying damage to whoever he's going to be hitting, just in case his ult doesn't have enough charge in it. You want to be applying extra damage so that his ult can go ahead and finish him off. A Hulk exile, if you already popped your ult, I've done this quite a few times, and Hulk exiles a character, I'll communicate to him and tell him, Hulk, I'm about to hit the one shot, hit him now. He hits him, boom, you get the one shot. It's just like that. Moon Knight's Ankh, a friendly Moon Knight, and he hits the Ankh, they're stunned for like half a second right there. You can hit a combo in that. Squirrel Girl's Root, the exact same thing as Emma's Grab. You just want to be hitting these combos. These are all abilities that you should be thinking about. If you see them on your comp, you're going to want to prioritize this. Hey, has our Emma used her grab yet? If she hasn't, and you notice that she's about to grab someone, wait for it, hit the one-shot combo, get him out of there. And then Star-Lord's Barrage Blast. This is a lot of area of effect damage whenever you two are diving together and you're singling out two targets. When you chain them together, use your demon, and then Star-Lord uses his Barrage Blast. It's a lot of area of effect damage you can communicate to your teammates in order to coordinate this attack. Enemy abilities that counter magic. So it's pretty much, a lot of them are the same as the ones that work with magic, right? So the Thing Slam, this is going to ground you. You're not going to be able to leave. It's really annoying to think about, but once he uses this, he's really just a big punching bag, so you can take advantage of this. Emma's Grab, obviously you want to wait until you see Emma pop her grab, or if you see her go into diamond form, you just want to leave. You want to leave because she can grab you and kick you into the wall and you're done. Bucky Barnes Grab and Orb, I'm not sure which one of these is the one that actually grounds you, but it's very annoying and it's really hard to deal with, so you want to make sure that you're prioritizing and thinking about the enemy Bucky's cooldowns. Mr. Fantastic's Grab, this is just going to keep you in their backline so that they can pick you off. Penny Parker's Mines and Web Trap, I like to use my demon to attack the nest and then use another portal to get out before the mines can hit me. Namor's Squids and ult, this one's not so much that big of a deal. You can use your demons, at least one of them, to counter a Namor Squid if you see it close enough, but his ult will ground you and there's no way for you to get out of it. Punisher's Shotgun, you want to be careful when he's using this. You're definitely going to be using portals if you see that Punisher has a shotgun out and just moving around and trying to make sure that he doesn't hit you. Hulk's Exile can stop your ult, especially right before you hit a one shot, or soak up the time of your ult, inhibiting your maximum damage output. And then Luna Snowball, the exact same thing. Mantis's Sleep and Scarlet's Orb. And then lastly, we got Wolverine's Grab. These are all just CC abilities that can, everybody struggles with these. And then for our final point, for game sense, we have forcing enemy support ults. So most of the time, assuming you've optimized your damage output with the bullet points mentioned before, the enemy teams will be scared of your ult by now. Magik is an AoE dealing damage machine when entering your ult, so you can and will force the enemy supports to counter ult you. I cannot tell you how many times I have forced a double support ult from the enemy team with just my press of a Q. They hear that voice line and they just boop, double support ult. So you can get a lot of damage, and this can be utilized to force their team to cycle support ults and essentially lose the game just because of this factor, just because of ill coordination. Make sure that your team knows the plan so that they can prepare and get in position. And then all of that game sense means nothing if you can't mechanically execute under pressure. So now we're going to talk about the small mechanical optimizations that separate good magics from terrifying ones. So number 4 is mechanics. Tricky combo execution, setups, timing, ability utilization, training mode efficiency. So for our first one, we have stepping disc and dash ult negation. This is how Magik can survive ultimates, right? If timed correctly, Magik's stepping disc and dash can completely negate the majority of ults in this game. Emphasis on the timing here because this is everything. The timing is the most pivotal point of this. The only way to practice this is just by playing her more often. You can and should always be looking to negate any damage from enemy ults that could one-shot you. Here's just a quick overview of every ult and when you should counter them. Strange, Scarlet, Bucky, Iron Man, Black Panther, Blade, Groot, The Thing, Angela, Jeff, Moon Knight, Magneto, Magik's one shot, Phoenix, Psylocke, Storm, Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, Venom. And there's plenty of more abilities like outside of ults that we can be going over, but this is just their ults. So another tip that I have right here is height portaling. Magik maintains horizontal elevation and slight vertical elevation boost. This is a handy tool that Kingsman taught me how to do a while back, and in a nutshell, Magik maintains her horizontal plane but gains the tiniest vertical boost, and this can be used in places on various maps for closing the distance between you and your target location. This is pretty much breaking the map to mold around your character. So once again, the mechanics of a character can and only will be learned by playing that character consistently with open-mindedness. You need to constantly be thinking of ways you can optimize your character's kit and how you can bend the game around your will. Constantly explore the map and see where you can get to just by portaling, and if needed, you can always dash into position as well. And then our third tip for mechanics is going to be using damage for health when on the run. Every ability Magik has can grant overshield if damage is inflicted. If you find yourself in a situation without supports and your team or you alone are backtracking space, remember that you can use your abilities to not only do damage but grant yourself additional overshield and survivability in the process. Always remember that Magik has a ranged ability. Play cover on your way out and use your slash to gain health to distract the enemy with the damage you inflicted, and also grant health to yourself so you can then escape. And then our final tip for mechanics is characters Magik can stump with the dash. So we got Venom, Thor, Hulk, Rogue, Gambit, any other dive character. All of these characters can be countered by timing your dash. If you see a Venom in your backline, save your dash for after his overshield has been depleted and he's looking for an escape with a swing. This is the moment to dash into him, because if you time it correctly, you can interrupt his swing animation, causing him to lose his cooldown and inevitably lose his life. The same can be applied to Thor. Wait for his swinging animation, track his movements, and interrupt the action. The same as Rogue if she goes into the air, as well as Hulk with the jump, a Wolverine, etc. The list can go on, but the point is that when you are peeling, you need to prioritize stumping your enemy's movement and causing them to remain overextended in order to secure a final. Also, when you do this, ping the enemy that you're focusing. And finally, we need to talk about the thing that most players completely ignore, which is mindset. Maintaining consistency under pressure, adapting to opponents, and meta understanding. So your meta understanding, this is just going to come from researching the game, bro. You got to watch a lot of YouTube. You got to play the game often. You want to consistently think about the bans that you're choosing, who counters you, who's in the meta right now, and just remain consistent throughout it, bro, because it's a long grind to get to top 500. It's a long grind to get to Grandmaster, you know? So you just want to remain consistent and think about how you're playing. If you're not carrying your team yet, you can play better. I understand it's hard to think of like, oh man, it's my teammates, bro. You can play better. You can carry them because there's other people doing it. So if they can do it, you can do it as well. You just want to adapt your play style to not only your team, but your enemy's team as well. And then when to swap. If it's just not working, really, you can play Magik into almost any comp, excluding flyers. If they're primarily, if they have 2 flyers and a Hawkeye, it's going to be really hard for you to get value out of this character. So you just want to think about when to swap. Always have a backup character. And yeah, I mean, I see a lot of plat players and diamond players especially neglecting one, if not most of these bullet points, which is in fact the entire reason that I made this video in the first place, because 4 of the 5 pillars in this video are not only applicable to Magik, but for every other character in the game. You know, it's a lot of information, but once you fully understand it, you can grind, you can carry your team, and you can do it, you know? So if you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, let me know what I can do better. And if you guys want to see more guides like this, let me know. I'm also a Thor main, an Emma main, an Iron Man main. So yeah, anyways, peace.